Between my last video and this one, I did a little bit of off-camera grinding, and as you can see, we're down about $11. But it was a lot worse than it actually seems. Here is a chart of every single hand that I played over that time, about 2,800 hands. And as you can see, by the difference in the green line and the red line, I ran like crap. 15% suck out after 15% suck out after 15% suck out. It was pretty rough, I gotta say. As you can see here, there's about 6 buy-ins worth in difference between where I should be and where I am. To be fair, I have been running pretty hot lately, but it was pretty rough. At one point, I was down to 510 in the account, and I was pretty embarrassed. The good thing is, though, that GG has a suck out bonus or whatever that gives you points because you got sucked out on, and it enters you into a flip out tournament where you go all in every hand. It's basically like a lottery, and I got lucky enough to win $40 from that. So that definitely helped the account. What kept me from tilting off even more money than usual was just knowing that I was making the right decisions and playing actual good poker. I was able to realize that it was just bad luck that was taking me down so far. And yeah, if you yourself are going through something similar, if you're aware that you're still making the right decisions, don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt your skill, because it will come back around. You're gonna have low streaks, but it will turn back into a positive. Anyways, that's my little opening monologue. Let's get into the hands for this session. All right, first hand of the video. We're in the small blind and get dealt King, Queen of clubs. See the hijack open to 25 cents. The cutoff calls, and with King, Queen of clubs on in the small blind, this could be an obvious 3-bet in this spot. We're gonna raise up to $1.50, a little bigger than usual because we're out of position, and there's already one caller. Both the hijack and the cutoff decide to call, and the flop comes down ace, 7, 10, 2 clubs, giving us a flush draw and a straight draw. Absolutely beautiful board. Lots of options for us to go on past this. So we are going to c-bet, and we get 2 snap folds. You absolutely love it. If we were to have gotten calls, we're definitely going to be barreling another on the turn, but we don't have to. In this hand, we are in the cutoff because we're only 4-handed, and we get dealt Queen Jack suited. We open up Queen Jack suited to 30 cents, fairly standard, and we see a 3-bet from the small blind. Especially when we're only 4-handed, this could be a slam dunk call. Flop comes down with 2 diamonds. You love to see it, giving us a flush draw. The small blind decides to bet 58 cents, and we're going nowhere. I don't see any reason to be raising here because he can have a lot of aces in his range. So we just put in the call. The turn comes down another ace, which is good for us. Less likely that he's going to have an ace in his hand. Small blind decides to bet out $2 here. Just slightly over a half pot bet. Sitting with a flush draw still. We have a lot of outs that we can hit, so we are going to call. The river is a blank. We don't make our draw. It is the 5 of clubs. Now the small blind decides to check to us. And here, sitting with queen high, we got to think about if we should be bluffing in this spot. We're left with, well, the effective stack. He only has $6.37 left, with the pot being $7.66, so just under a pot size bet. What can we get to fold? What is betting flop and turn that will fold here? I feel like he can have some weak aces, which I don't think is going to be folding to a jam. We are blocking the flush draws, and it's a very weird spot to put him on a specific range where he's going to be checking this river. I feel like a lot of times he's going to be checking this river, hoping that we're going to bet for him, hoping that, like, trying to induce us to bluff, which makes me want to just check it back and give up. It's not very fun, just kind of giving up the pot, but I feel like this is a spot where it just has to happen. We check it back to him, and he shows jacks. Very interesting. It's possibly one of the holdings that we could have gotten to fold if we were to jam there. Kind of sucks, but I feel like jacks is just too small of part of his range for it to actually be profitable for us to be jamming there. It does suck to lose that last spot, but in this next one, we have 2 kings in the small blind and we raise it up. The big blind just flat calls. When the flop comes down 8, 5, 6, 2 clubs, we put out a c-bet here, betting fairly big because it is a very juicy board. The big blind calls, and the turn is the 7 of diamonds, putting a 4-liner to a straight out there and adding a second flush draw. Now with the board being so scary, we just check it to him. He's going to have so many nines, well, pretty much all of the nines, a lot of fours, and we're going to have those cards too being in the small blind, but with our exact holding, we're not loving it. He decides to bet about half pot, and with kings here, we're obviously not going to go anywhere. We're seeing a river. River is jack of diamonds completing the backdoor flush, which we're not exactly too worried about. It's mostly just the 4-liner to the straight. We decide to check again to him, and when he decides to bet out half pot, I gotta just start thinking what he would take this line with. His bluffs are the obvious clubs, which we block. I don't think he's betting turn and river with an 8. Maybe he's doing it with 2 pair, but even then with a 4-liner to a straight up there, I'm not sure if he's doing that. It's such a weird spot. Even if he was like bluffing with clubs and banked a jack on the river, I think he'd probably just be checking it back and getting a showdown value. It may be nitty of me to think like this, but I think there's just so many times where he has a 9 here that I just have to fold. And I hate saying that. Feel free to absolutely roast me in the comments if you think this is an awful play, but I hate the spot. We end up putting in the fold. We show him the kings to see if he'll show us if he bluffed us or not, and we just get a thank you emote. I don't feel too great about it. Final hand of the session here, and we get dealt king, jack of spades on the button. We're going to open up to 30 cents, fairly standard. Let's see what the blinds want to do with it. See a 3-bet from the big blind. Because we are suited and in position, I don't think we're going to be going anywhere here. Flop comes down 6-8-3 with 2 diamonds. Pretty awful flop for us. We do have some backdoor flush draws and some overcards. And this flop isn't going to really hit the 3-bitters range all too often unless he has some pocket pairs. He checks it to us. And here we can, we sometimes check back trying to see a turn, but we decided to bet here. We do open it up so we can get check raised, which I don't like, but we have the opportunity to possibly take it down if he's just sitting with 2 overcards and doesn't want to continue. We do see a call though. The turn brings the queen of diamonds, bringing in the front door flush, not really improving our hand all too much, and I think at this point we can just give up and check back. River gives us top pair with king jack, which is pretty nice, and when he decides to bet a little over half pot, you got to start thinking what hands he's going to be left with. What is he going to be calling flop with? And then just continuing to check turn and then lead out river. He did 3-bet, so he's going to have ace king, hands with ace of diamond that he's going to be bluffing with. But really in this spot, I'm really not pleased. I think a lot of the time he could be slowing down with aces possibly on the turn when he checks, and when we check back he just decides to bet out. But natural bluffs here I think is just going to be an ace jack off if he's 3-betting it with a diamond. It's just really hard to find a bluff here. I think a lot of the time he's going to be holding ace king and it's going to just pip us. So for those reasons I'm going to put in the fold. Been playing pretty tight today, but let's see if it pays off. We fold and show him the king, and he turns over aces. So it turns out we made a really good fold there. Let's go. So on the day, we end up down about $5. As you can see on the chart, we started off pretty slow, ran it back up, and got a little lucky. But overall, it says that we lost $2, but with a rake, we ended up losing $5. Not a great session, but we'll be back at it next time. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure to subscribe and like, and I'll see you later. Peace.